All right. Hello, guys. Welcome back to my channel. This is Chu-Chu. Welcome to Business Class. Today's topic is very interesting. It's interesting because not everybody's gonna like it. Some people are gonna be offended by it. Some people are gonna be triggered by it. Some people are gonna learn from it, and some people are gonna kick and scream, and some might even arguably destroy their television screen. Well, I hope none of that happens. It's just a broadcast. It's just a way for everybody to come together and for us to learn from our experiences. Well, if you're here for the first time, welcome. I appreciate you. And if you've been with us on the channel, if you've been with me in the channel since the conception and have watched myself experience the growth, I want to say thank you. And with that said, you're looking at it. Today's topic. Make sure you do not marry a feminist. Do not attempt this at home, right? So I just thought it was fit. It was a fit question to ask. Before leading up to this broadcast, I was thinking to myself, what can I really do to prove that there is something wrong when it comes to as far as feminism? What can I do to prove to people, or to at least to prove to myself, that there's an inherently problematic issue with marrying a feminist or with just the feminist ideology and mindset? So I thought of a family friend of mine who is a feminist. I called her up. She didn't pick up, but I texted her. It so happened to be that I was delivering something to her place. So I asked her a simple question: who would you consider a masculine man? The kind of man that everyone, feminists, men that are, or boys that aspire to be men, a guy that everybody should aspire to be like. Oh Lord. Guys, you're not gonna like her answer. This woman said to me, Stephen Curry. That is a masculine man. That is the kind of man that we all should aspire to be like. He's such a family man. He's so in love with his wife, this and that. Guys, pay attention. The same Steph Curry that went after a girl that rejected him back in high school. The same Steph Curry that only scored the girl because she had run out of options. The same Steph Curry that if this girl had landed a massive role in Hollywood, would probably look past him or raise her requirements. The same Steph Curry that has tried everything to make his wife happy and put her in a position where she can excel. That's Steph Curry. That's who you and I should model our masculinity after. So at that point, I conceded. I did not say nothing to her. At that point, I agreed. I was like, okay, Steph Curry it is. And I walked off. She did not care to mention any of the real masculine men out there, the men that have done something with their life. She did not mention Aliko Dangote. She did not mention even Bill Gates. I'll take Bill Gates as a strong masculine role. She did not mention Denzel Washington. She did not mention Jay-Z or some other guys out there that are leading their family in the right direction. But she did not even mention someone like Damon Dash. But that's a feminist for you. So for those of you wondering, what is a feminist? A feminist is one of those women. There's over 1 million of them in the United States. So you're likely to land one. So pay attention to this definition. Pay very good attention. Okay? She's an advocate for women's rights on a basis of equality. She's an advocate for women's rights, and she does this on the basis of equality of the sexes, believing that her and him are equal. And they even go as far as wanting an equality of outcome. Equality of opportunity, I'm fine with. Yes, let the women get to work. Let them get employment where men get employment. But you see, the problem with feminism is that a lot of feminists, they want to have an equality of outcome. They want to be paid the same amount of money that the man that is a high performer, the guy that outperforms her, the guy that outworks her, the guy that is more devoted than her at the same task. He wants to be paid exactly the same amount of money. And ladies and gentlemen, that does not work. You see, because in this modern day society, there are so many things that have been sold to feminists which they do not even understand the meaning behind it. For example, the feminists will tell you that they're fighting for equality to be able to buy a house. That there was a time a woman could not buy a house. There was a time a woman could not vote. There was a time a woman could not drive. Well, ask any of your counterparts from Africa. Ask any African man, any of us that was raised in Africa, or anybody, the Arabs, the Chinese, anybody that was raised in any other part of the world, how they felt when their women could buy a house, how they felt when their women could vote, how they felt when their women could drive. They do not occur in the large amount where you see men against women buying houses, voting, and willingness to drive. Sometimes these things just occur with the signs of the times. There were people that was against black people being considered human beings back in the day. But for the most part, as far as we've come into society, as far as we've come, it was all curated by men with effort from women. Some places you might start to understand why feminism is a principle that, when tested, gets turned on its head. It's like, let's say you go to a restaurant, right? You go out with a woman. When it's time to pay, she expects you to pay. She doesn't want equality of the sexes at that point. point. When it becomes time to go to the army, she wants it to be an option. She does not want equality of the sexes at that point. Have you ever gone on out with a feminist or a woman and it was time to get in the car, she opened your door? Just asking. don't kill the messenger, just take the message, I'm just relaying the message, right? A woman has never opened your door. So I bet you wonder what that feels like, since we're all equal or we're seeking equality of the sex, right? And you know another thing feminists don't like? I bet you the average feminist does not like a man wearing makeup, at least a man that she's interested in. They don't like guys with makeup. But you see, a man should be able to, if we're all, fighting for rights on the equality of the sexes, on the basis of equality, a man should be able to wear makeup and you should be attracted to him. But no. You see, feminists are attracted to traditional masculine men. They just hate that they are. They hate that thing inside of them that makes them attracted to those kind of guys. They want to be taken care of. Have you ever seen a feminist land a billionaire like Amber Heard and the rest of them? And they're like, no, I don't want your money. Keep your money. I can take care of myself. Doesn't happen. They love being taken care of by masculine men. Even if not masculine men, rich men. They always want to keep their money. Pay attention, guys. Your money is our money. Her money is her money. She wants to keep her money. She wants to be able to store it away in some bank account where it's not needed, and she wants to afford herself all the finer things in life. And then the family or whatever, the relationship gets to run on your expense. The most apparent place where feminism is tested and it falls on its head is in the NBA versus WNBA argument. At the start of this broadcast, I mentioned that there are over 1 million feminists in the United States, over 1 million women that actually consider themselves feminists. You've seen the ongoing debate, or you heard about it, or if you turn on your YouTube channel or internet, you hear it going on at different podcasts. Women talking about how the NBA should pay the WNBA equally, or the NBA players should take some of their money that they've earned based on merit. Remember, these NBA players not all NBA players are multimillionaires. There are guys in the NBA that get paid less than $1 million, but they want these top earners to somehow subsidize their pay. Don't forget, the WNBA is already being subsidized by the NBA. If you remove the NBA, if something happened today and the NBA vanished, the WNBA will vanish as well. This is a fact. So now ask yourself a question. Why don't all the feminists run off and go to the WNBA and watch the games and help bring up the bottom line so that the women in the WNBA don't have to worry about the men? But you know why they won't? Oh, snap. Welcome to reality. They're attracted to the men playing in the NBA court. The men playing the basketball on the NBA side are more talented. The men playing basketball on the NBA side are more skilled. The game is more interesting. The level of skillsmanship is at a very, very elevated point compared to the WNBA. So you will never ever see that argument make sense. When you tell a feminist to make it make sense, they can't. They can't. Guys, 1 second. They cannot make it make sense, all right? Most of them cannot make it make sense. So when you tell them to make it make sense, it's impossible. So guys, remember that definition, that a feminist is an advocate for women's rights on the basis and the sole basis that they want equality for the sexes, being men and women are equal. That whatever a man can do, a woman can do it. As a matter of fact, there's a saying that says whatever a man can do, a woman can do better. I know you laugh, We're still waiting for the all-women car company, That would be a nice car to drive. I bet the brakes will be better. And for no reason, I'm telling you, I love women. I love the feminists too, Up to a point, I would even argue that I'm a feminist myself, right? I would argue that I'm a feminist. I would argue that a lot of guys out there that have no issues with women, that are gymmed up, suited up, booted up, well-groomed, good-looking, I would argue that they are feminists. They want women to win. I want women to win, okay? But guys, pay attention to these statistics, okay? Don't forget the definition of feminist, guys, as we go through this. Pay attention to these stats. It says the statistics in the United States represent that 70% to 90% of divorces filed by women, right? Meaning that at any given point, 7 to 9 out of 10 women will leave their marriage. No matter what the reason is, they are just living in their large numbers. If you were going to invest in something, if you were going to build a family, right? And the person that was going to hand you the hammer for you to finish off the roof, there was a 70 to 90% chance that when you need that hammer, they're not going to be there. Would you proceed to build that house depending on them? You don't have to answer right now. That's a question for you. Take your time, think about it. If you were building a house, you got to the roofing level, and the person that was supposed to hand you the hammer from the toolkit on the ground while you're on the roof, because it's counterproductive for you to come down and go back up, the person you're depending on to hand you that hammer to finish off the roof, that there was a 70 to 90% chance realize that they wouldn't be there when you need that hammer, would you go ahead and build that specific house with them? I know my answer. I won't tell you my answer. I want you to make up your own answer. I want you, like they say in Africa, I want you to use your tongue to count your teeth. It's widely known that the divorce court here in the United States and in most Western countries does not favor men. This broadcast is not about you not getting married. All you fuckers out there, you should go and get married. Oh, you should get married. You need a woman in your life. For those of you in Africa, I know that society allows for more than one woman. Get as many as you can afford to take care of. I'm not against. So those of us here in the Western society, they say one man, one wife. If you're lucky to find two women that can be on your program, you're a lucky guy, right? Divorce court does not favor men, which is why you need to pay attention to the kind of woman that you go into this marriage with. I'll give you an example. I had one of my buddies, Hakeem, right? Hakeem was married to a woman, and Hakeem was a guy that came from a family where, based on the things that happened, based on the kind of trauma he experienced, Hakeem swore to himself that he would never leave his kids in a marriage, no matter the behavior of the woman. At the end of the day, infidelity came into the marriage. Hakeem had to fight for his integrity, for his life, for his emotional stability, and the rest of it. At the end of the day, this woman started playing games with Hakeem, and Hakeem made it known to her, if you cannot take care of my kids, please, I will gladly take them and keep them every day of the week. She was beginning to play this game like, oh, can you keep them? She was trying to make it difficult to manage the kids, to babysit the kids. And Hakeem made it known to her, if you need to be by yourself or you're so busy 7 days out of the week, I am willing to keep the kids 365 days of the year. You see, a feminist doesn't like that, because why? You've thrown a blanket, letting her know that there's nothing she can do to trigger you or bring your kids between you and her. Hakeem went on to find a beautiful young lady. Now they were expecting a kid. They just had a baby boy. He's happy in a relationship with a woman that understands his worth. Because sometimes women always think it's about money. Oh, this is what I can afford. This is my standard. I need a man that can meet me at this level. I'm at this level. I'm at that level. They always tell you about the things they've bought, that they own a house. They talk like men. They talk about all their accomplishments, things that you and I don't care about. Any man that knows where his balls is doesn't care about. That's what feminists talk about. Whenever you see a woman talking about her accomplishment, her degrees, her money, this and that, that's a sign. That's feminist. You better run. Because when the tire meets the road, right, she would not put that money on the line for you. She would not bet on you. So you got to be careful, okay? So now Hakeem is happily married or happily in a relationship that is functional. All of a sudden, she wants him back. They want what they can have. So you know the best way to be in a relationship, some of you knuckleheads, you're going to decide to go with a feminist. You know how you stay successfully in a relationship with a feminist? Have her chase after you. Make yourself unattainable. She wants you fat, go work out. Be in the most fit shape of your life. She wants you drinking alcohol and be a slob. Do not drink. Always drink water. Eat healthy. Be in shape. Go after your goals. Be the man that every woman desires. Expand your options. Exercise carefully. Hence, you land another feminist. I hope you guys are with me. Most feminists, they're gonna see you as their opposition. She sees you as an opposition. What does that mean? You versus her. You as a man, you are an opposition. You are everything that stands in her way of success. And because of that, you have to pay a very hefty price. That is when you start seeing those comparisons. She starts to, tell you everything. Whenever you're with a lady and every time she opens her mouth, she's always talking about how men are trash and how men are this, how men have done this to her. Personal trauma. And she's going to make you pay the price of what one man has done to her. You see, what one man did to her, every man is going to pay for it. But let the case be the reverse. Let you blame one woman, blame all women for what one woman did to you. She'll call you a misogynistic, POS, that you're not a real man. That's when the shame, the insult, the guilt, the need to be right comes in. She would pull out all the cards and all the stops and all the valid, invalid points to prove to you why you're so wrong and why what that woman did to you is not how all women are. But she will spend the rest of her life telling you and reminding you of everything that men did to her. Most feminists are going to be your competition all the same. This is why you should not marry a feminist. They consider themselves your competition. You're very good at the basketball. She believes she's better than you and she wants to prove it all day. You're good at lawn tennis. She thinks she's better than you. I cannot remember the name of the tennis player, that challenged a male tennis player to a game. And at the end of the day, the male tennis player took the challenge. And at the end of the day, she couldn't even score a point. You see, a feminist has a hard time understanding that men are built different and women are built different. And together, they make a whole unified package. And it works beautifully. That is the way the universe intended it to work. You look all through the animal kingdom, this is how it functions. You don't see farmers milking the male cow. You don't see the male cow giving birth to kids. You don't see the male cow with the nurturing instinct. But the feminists will come around and try to jiggle up the host. They're the problem we have in society today. It's like a plague. And mind you, some of these people are not even feminists. Because remember, I told you men could be feminists too, but they do feminism right. These are just opposition people that are very counterproductive members of society that do not enable anything to work. Because if they did enable anything to work, men don't complain. Men just go out there and build companies. There was no Tesla. Elon Musk went and built it. There was no Microsoft. Bill Gates went and built it. No complaints. He didn't complain about how women are this and that or how women are not giving him opportunity. He just went and built it. Steve Jobs didn't complain. He just went and built Apple, which is the phone I'm recording this on. Here's an Apple iPhone. You should ask the feminists to throw away their Apple iPhone if they hate men so much. I bet you they won't do it. Okay? Most feminists, when it comes to considering marriage, why you should not marry a feminist, they believe they're better than you as a man. They believe that whatever you can do, that they can do better. There's something special about them. They believe they're really special. That's why when it comes to feminists, another telltale sign of a feminist is she refers to herself as a queen, even though she looks nothing like royalty. She's overweight. She's not pretty. She doesn't carry any of her natural attributes. She uses makeup to the highest capacity. She doesn't dress feminine. She doesn't look beautiful. She's not inspirational. She doesn't have feminine qualities. She lacks in everything that a man wants in a woman. But she's a queen, and you should bow, regardless of how she makes you feel. She's not better than you. She's just a feminist, and you should not marry her. Pay attention. Pay attention. Another reason why you should not marry a feminist is because being involved with a feminist, oh my goodness, being involved with a feminist is an emotional roller coaster. You just have to constantly put up and deal with her emotion. Remember, this is the same person that's going to be in your position and in competition with you and tell you how she's better than you. At the same time, once in a while, in the process of fighting her feminine instinct, she's going to tell you that she needs someone to cater to her emotion. Unlike a man, that she could get emotional, that she's a woman. So she's going to keep going into that masculine and into that once in a while fighting her femininity. Avoid her, because this is something that is just not this is so tentative. You're going to be dealing with it for the rest of your life. It's a frequent occurrence. You're going to deal with it from day one to you take the dirt nap. So be careful with that. And most of them will hit you with the fact that you guys are equal. You see the definition? Advocate for women's right on the basis of equality. Most feminists believe they're equal to a man. If they're so equal to a man, why do you have to cater to her emotion? Who caters to yours? That's my question to you men out there. Excuse me, guys. Who caters to your emotions, right? Who caters to your emotions? For most of you guys out there, you guys are smart. You know what's going on. Who caters to your emotion, guys? Tell me. Who is it that you call when you're feeling emotional that says, hey, come over here, put your shoulder right here, put your head on my shoulder? You see, even in the world that we live in today, right? Most feminists have the guts to say that they're equal to men because why? Most men are becoming soft and fluid. Men don't act like men anymore. Men are not masculine. Men are not risk takers. Men don't put their money where their mouth is. They don't bet their life on the line like they used to. It's becoming something of the past. That is why a feminist is able to say that she's equal to a man. Make sure you don't marry her. Another reason why you should not marry a feminist is because most feminists are very traditional when it's convenient for them. And when it's not convenient, they turn into a modern woman and they resist everything traditional. For example, when a feminist is broke, she tends to want a man to cater to her. But once she's on the up and coming and she starts to see that money and touch that money and earn a lot of money, even research has shown that there was a UK research that came out that said that women that earn significantly more than their spouse tend to file for divorce within a year of earning more money than their significant other. More than 50% of them. It's a coin toss. So you're about to marry a woman and take a coin toss gamble that at some point, if she starts to make significantly more than you in income, that she will stay. Don't take that chance. Do your investigation and make sure that you're not in bed with a feminist. It will save your life. It will save you a lot of headache. And at the end of the day, ultimately, you will be a better man and live out a better quality of life just because you did not marry a feminist. Most feminists hate men. It's not news because most of them are dealing with so many things that they believe was the result of a man. That whatever is happening to them is the fault of a man. That a man is a stumbling block on their way. That whatever difficulty that they're experiencing is as a result of a man. So this is the reason why you shouldn't marry a feminist, because most of them don't like men to begin with. So why would you marry someone that doesn't even like you on the basic level? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to marry someone that does not like you on a basic level, on the basic human level. Pay attention, guys. That is not to your advantage. To most feminists, you as a man, you're just an idea. You're just an idea to her. And once you do not fit the bill anymore, once that idea evaporates from her mind, time for her to do the same as well. So do not marry a feminist, because the idea of you is just part of her delusion. She's not there for the long haul. Feminists are not built to be there for the long haul. They're women that are just emotional balls. And once that emotion changes, just like the weather, they change as well. So you don't want to be involved with a feminist just based on that criteria, because she will break your heart, she will destroy everything you've built, and she will leave. And not only will she leave, she will let you watch her in 4K while she continues the work of feminism on another man. So be careful. Most feminists, right? And one of the reasons why you shouldn't marry them is that in every relationship they treat, especially marriage, they treat it with a one leg in and one leg out kind of situation. That's when you start hearing stuff like rainy day fund. They have hidden bank account. Oh, what if he leaves me? Oh, what if he doesn't come through for me? You know? Oh, what if this? Oh, what if that? They have so many what if scenarios of what could possibly go wrong. Do not get involved with a feminist. Don't do it. Do not attempt this at home, because anybody that has one leg in and one leg out in a relationship is not planning to stay. There's a saying where I was born, which is Africa, that nobody knows the intention of someone that has a traveling bag while they're cooking. Think about that for a second. Why would somebody be cooking with a traveling bag? There's no way to tell the intention. And even if you can tell the intention from all the signals that I read from that, nothing good can come from it. Think about it. Why would someone be carrying a traveling bag while they're cooking if they're not planning to go somewhere? Well, guys, use your head. The big one, not the little one. Okay? The next reason why you should not marry a feminist is because most of them are exhausting. They're exhausting to deal with. You know, the constant need for validation, the constant need to be right, the constant need for you to pander to their emotions, the constant need for all this is too much work for one man. You know, at least if you had multiple women, at least you get the benefit of being with multiple women and you're dealing with all this emotion. But from one woman, you always have to constantly validate her, and she always feels the need to be right, and you have to cater to all these emotional roller coasters. Guys, it's not worth it. For you young guys, I would say just stay single. It's better later, because the older you get, the more game you have, the more financially stable you are, the more control you have over your relationship. I am currently seeing a young lady and she hates the word control. Signs of feminism, right? I know. Remote controller, control room, all these are trigger words for feminists. They hate that word control. A feminist wants you to be responsible for her, but you have zero authority over her. Think about that. Imagine having a dog that's never around. Only when he wants to eat, he just sneaks in and then is barking at you. Where's my food? Where's my food? And once you feed it, boom, it's gone. Those are for you dog lovers. I don't care about dogs. I don't like dogs. I like cars. But do you car lovers out there? Think about it. Imagine owning a Lamborghini. It only comes when it needs, like whenever the gas is empty, pulls up and parks itself in your garage. Once you fill it up with tank, boom, the car is gone. Or rental. Maybe you're a Lamborghini you rent. Every time you rent it, you fill it up with gas, take it home, park. By the time you come outside to go enjoy it and take it on a joyride, the car is gone. And it's off somewhere. When it comes back, the gas is empty. And then you have to gas it up again, going into the house to change, to come back, take it on a joyride, the car is gone again. Would you rent that same Lamborghini again? No. Most of you smart guys wouldn't. That's the answer to that. They're exhausting. It's a constant need for validation. Do not marry feminists, because most of them are control freaks. You ever heard that saying, happy wife, happy life? Is BS. Happy wife, happy life is the biggest BS on the face of the planet. Any man that you hear in 2023 open his mouth and say happy wife, happy life, right? Call him to the side and educate him. And if you won't do that, tell him to close his buccal cavity or his orifice. He needs to close his mouth. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's not knowledgeable in any sense, fashion, or tone. The job of your husband is not to make you happy. The job of any human being is not to make anybody happy. Your husband's part is to make your life better. So is your part. So to all you feminists out there, if your goal is not to make a man's life better, better stay away from men. Better stay to yourself. Men don't care for you guys. Just stay to yourself. Do men a favor all over the planet, all over the globe. Stay to your effing self. There's enough nonsense going on in the world already to complicate a man's life. It's already hard for men out here. Men have a natural instinct to take care of women. Do not come into a man's life and complicate that. Feminists are control freaks. Do not marry them. They hit you with that happy wife, happy life nonsense. It's not true. They have a need for power, but they have no use for it. Do not let yourself be outpowered or outmanned by a freaking feminist. They have a need for power, but they have no use for it. Do not give her the power over your life. You will regret it, guys. That's why you should not marry or get involved with a feminist. Let me ask you guys some questions to prove my point. More on the validation and need to be right later. But for now, let me buttress my point, right? How many women have you seen that divorced multi-millionaire men, billionaires, and went on to triple, quadruple, multiply that money by 10x? I will wait. Please, if you know anybody, put it in the chat or in the comment section. How many women do you know after divorce? Like if you take example, Tiger Woods' wife, what did she get? $250 million? How many of them do you know went on to become billionaires? They took all that money, all that lump sum of money that guys like you and I need to pump into our business and do something significantly better. How many of you know women, Michael Jordan's wife, ex-wife? How many of you know women that got all that money in divorce? Eddie Murphy's ex-wife, Nicole Murphy. How many of you know them that they took that money that they got from the money they fought this man so hard for, and they went on to multiply it tenfold. Please put the name of any woman you know that did such thing in the comment section. BET, Black Entertainment Network, owned by a black man and a black woman. Divorce, split it. Today, black people don't own BET anymore. So you see, it doesn't work. Feminists are dangerous and they should be avoided because they have a need for power. But trust me, women exist in chaos. They don't know what to do with it. It's a fact. I don't care. I'm saying it, taking this to the grave. Another reason why you don't want to marry a feminist is because most of them indulge in something called self-sabotage. I know most of you have heard this before. They're in a perfect relationship and all of a sudden, one day they just wake up, just start causing ruckus and chaos, start disrupting a perfect thing, a good thing. Wake up, guys. It's a telltale sign, y'all. She's letting you know. She doesn't like you. This is not her natural state. She's not used to being treated well. She's not used to things working out. She's not used to a good life. She's not used to peace. She's not used to tranquility. You ever heard that African meme? I do not want peace. I want war. That's a feminist. It's a crazy thing. A perfectly good relationship, a perfectly good thing, they will self-sabotage. They will destroy it. For what? For a feeling, for something they thought, or an idea. To stress my point, I'm going to give you an example. I was dating a young girl in her 30s. I noticed her financial situation and I said to myself, what can I do to make this woman's life better? I came up with a couple of ideas. While we're working on the idea, all of a sudden one day, out of nowhere, this woman woke up and decided that I'm not who I say I am, and that I'm a Nigerian, and that for some reason that I'm possibly a scammer, that this and that and that. And I told her to calm down, that she needs to get some sleep, that whatever it is that she thinks, it's not what she thinks it is, that she needs to calm down. She didn't listen to me. Everything went south. After all said and done, she came back apologizing and telling me, oh, I'm sorry, it must have been the THC candy that I ate, or she took some THC, some marijuana or whatever. You see, the sabotage has already happened. The destruction of the plan has already happened. Now, you are supposed to take, I'm sorry, and bring her back into the fold. It's the biggest regret. It's the biggest thing you could do with your life. Don't try it. They indulge in a high degree of self-sabotage. Do not let yourself be sabotaged by a feminist because they will destroy your life. They will waste your time. And if you know anything about time, you cannot get it back. You cannot get it back. Don't let a feminist waste your time, guys. You cannot get it back. Even some of you lesbians, don't even let the feminist waste your time. I know guys are like, I'm crazy. If you're a woman and you date women, avoid feminists too, because they will ruin your life. You see, I'm an equal opportunity destroyer. I'm not here to fix the relationships. I'm here to let you guys know who to avoid so that you don't end up in a bad marriage. So for all you lesbians out there, you members of the LGBTQ community, avoid feminists. They have something for self-sabotage. I don't know what it is. They exist and thrive in chaos. And for all you beautiful women out there, the feminine ones, the beautiful ones, the inspirational ones, the ones that are into men, the ones that see their heterosexual nature and they embrace it, I'm talking to you as well. Avoid feminists and avoid men that embrace feminists. They're not masculine. They're just masquerading as masculine men. And at the right time, he will show you that he cannot defend you, he cannot protect you, he cannot provide for you. Feminine men are not aggressive. They cannot save your life. You don't want them. That's just the truth. Take it how you want. Another thing I want to tell you why you shouldn't marry a feminist. A lot of them are dealing with trauma from the past. A lot of feminists are dealing with trauma from the past. Trauma. That's why you see them when they cannot get the kind of man they want. What do? They turn to hell on wheels. They become hell on wheels. They become a nightmare for men on this planet. They become a nightmare for you and I. It's the reason why you shouldn't marry a feminist. They all filled with trauma. I'll give you an example, okay? I have a family friend. She buys cars from me for her mom. Hardcore. Stunt, stinking, won't lose weight, won't look good for a man, hair shaved, overweight feminist, right? Being the kind of guy that I am, I'm not full of myself. I always try to step down from my high horse to understand what the other side is trying to say, what the problem is, so that we could reach, confluence or whatever, where two rivers meet, right? I believe that's what it is, a confluence, right? The delta is where they enter the ocean. So I try to see things from their perspective. And upon closer investigation, she starts to tell me about her dad, about how her dad used to beat her mom, about some, DV issues in the family and stuff like that. And I start to realize that this woman and her attitude towards men was as a byproduct of her experience watching the dynamic between her father and her mother. And now, because of the dynamic between her father and her mother, she's been scarred to the point that she believes that men are responsible for behaviors like this, that the chances of her experiencing a man in this manner is in the upward of 50%, the excess of 50%. She believes that the chances of her running into a man that would do her like her father did her mother, or that would basically bring back those memories, or that would basically enact the same type of act towards her, was very high. I disagreed with her, but at least I was able to hear her out. So these are what some feminists are dealing with. These are women dealing with traumas for the past, and because of that trauma and because of the attitude towards life, the mentality, because feminism is a mindset and it could turn dangerous real quick for some women. I don't have any problem. Most men, most sane thinking men have no issue advocating for women's rights because men allowed it in the first place. They have no problem with equality of opportunity for the sexes. But where we cut ties is the equality of outcome. No, that cannot happen. Everything you have should be on merit. If you work harder, you should be paid more. If you work longer, you should be paid more. You understand? So most feminists are dealing with trauma from the past. Make a mental note of that, and that's the reason why you shouldn't marry a feminist. The next thing that you should understand why you shouldn't marry a feminist is because when you see a traumatized feminist, right, and you ask her about her examples of bad men, right, most of them always, 9 times out of 10, always tell you stories involving boys. What do I mean by this? You would never see a real man, a man, put a woman, in most cases, through hell. I was seeing a young lady very briefly, and I would not recommend this for most of you guys out there. Don't get into a relationship with women. Stay single. You could be involved, but stay single. Keep your options open. When you find the right one, the woman that can get on your program, then you can start considering marriage. Keep your options open, stay single, and play it that way. That's the best way to play. When they cannot get a relationship, it will force people to reconsider their position in life, because no one can force you into a relationship. That's just the reality. Only you can accept. Oh, baby. Oh, no, we're not baby. You're not my baby. We're just in the know of each other. We're figuring things out. I'm getting to know you. So I asked this, I was involved with this young lady, and every time I talked to her, she had something crazy to say about men, right? She's from Mississippi. And I started to dig deeper, only to find out that she was being pushed by her family members to get involved with a guy that already has a bunch of baby mamas. And this guy was a member of their church and was tied somehow to her grandma, and they were pushing her to marry said guy. And then she married this guy for a little bit, and upon getting into the marriage, her being a feminist, she realized that, it's not what it's cut out to be. She never told me that this guy was abusive, but based on the way she sounded, she had gone to places and had external experiences and realized and started saying to herself that she deserves more, she deserves better. So for that reason, this guy is less. Remember, she's from small town Mississippi. She's not the prettiest girl, facially. She's slim, she's very petite, she's good looking, on average she's about a 4.5, but she believes she deserves better. That's what feminism has done, right? And she decides to extrapolate herself from this guy and moves to Chicago, and she will tell you all the horror stories of how guys are stalking her, how guys are coming after her, how she's the hottest thing in the world, that she doesn't know what's wrong with men, how men just keep following her, waiting out in front of her building, how men are doing this to her, how men are dangerous, how men are doing that, this and that. And then if you dig deep, most of these guys are low quality people, guys with no jobs. What kind of man waits for a woman in front of her apartment? She could never give me an example where she was involved with a man. It was always the same. The guys with the dreadlocks, the rough guys, the guys that, she got into a relationship with, they drove her car, dropped her off in school, and used her car to just beat around the city. Guys that had nothing, no reputation, no money, no nothing, no cars, no goals, no dreams. These are the kind of guys she's comparing to bona fide men. She should get a ticket for that. You shouldn't just be able to come out here and just speak on men. You women can only do feminists. You can only do that here in this Western society. You can't do this shit in Africa. You can't do it in the Middle East. You can't do it anywhere. You can't just open your mouth and just speak on all men like this. And you know the funny thing about it? All these boys she talks about went on to become men. And now most of them are in relationships with other women. And she's single, living in a one-bedroom studio apartment, paying bills, frustrated, miserable. When I was with her, she's trying to get me to pay for this and that, for her flight to this place and that, and all this kind of stuff. And this is an independent woman. She could barely afford to fix her car. On several occasions, I had to fix up her car for her. That's feminism. That's what feminism does in society. Because the men are fine. Men will always be fine. It just takes a matter of time, just a wake-up call, and a man will whip up in shape, and become the man he needs to be. He'll go from a boy to a man. But as a feminist, what kind of man is gonna pick you? Because remember, men hold the key to relationship and marriage, while most of you feminists hold access to sex. The problem is this: how many men are trying to get into that kind of relationship with you? Especially men that are in the know-how, men that are knowledgeable, men that have come into the full sense of self. These are not simps. These are not beta males. These are not manginas. They're not going to fall for just whatever. These are people that should be taken very seriously, and they take themselves seriously. No bona fide man will fall for that. So for you guys out there watching, do not marry a feminist for this reason, because her examples of men are always poor examples. She holds you to some stupid standard because of what some boy, some low level, low quality, low class man did to her. Don't fall for it. A feminist will tell you another reason why you shouldn't marry a feminist. She will tell you that her makeup is for her, that she would never put on makeup for men, that she doesn't do it for men, she does it for herself. But now ask yourself a question, or ask her a question. Do you wear makeup in the house? Then you find out that the answer is no. You see, there's no shame in my game. I look good for women. I like women. As much as I look good for myself, I like to look good so that when a woman, a bona fide woman, an 8, and 9, and 10, when she sees me, she says, I like him. He smells good. He looks good. Well educated. I like his car. I like the way he moves through society. You see, most men don't have a problem admitting that they look good for so that they could attract the best quality of women. But you see, a feminist, they hate relinquishing control of any sort to a man. They hate men so much that they wouldn't even give in to the fact that they look good so that they could attract the kind of man they want. Don't marry her, bro. Don't marry her, young man. Don't marry her, guys, because these are just the entry phases. See, that little snake is going to grow on to be a python. And at that point, you'll be lucky if you make it out with your life, because we all know what pythons do when they grow big enough. They swallow the owner, okay? Now, the last point I want to make about why you should not marry a feminist is because most of them are not health conscious. You seen the one that ran for the governor of Georgia, the fat lady, the big one, with the big cheeks? Don't marry a feminist. Don't marry them. They will never get in shape, not even to save their own life, and they think they're doing it for you. When you tell a feminist, that you talk to a woman about cooking and cleaning, she gets mad right away, as though you need it for you, like you were not existing, like your life was not perfect before she ran into you. Like the reason why you need her to cook is not for the possibility of kids, so that you could entrust your kids and your legacy in her hand. She's not health conscious. She's gonna gain weight, she's gonna lose attractiveness, and she would still expect you to apply the same pressure that you did when you first met her, with the weight gain and with the loss in attraction. And most of you guys are not able to do it, and you suffer in silence, and that is not healthy for a man, because when most men bottle up their feelings, and when that lid pops, it's usually to the detriment of society. You ask a feminist to cook, to clean, and she doesn't, it's not because she can't. She just hates the fact and the idea that she has to do it for a man. So guys, take heed to all these warnings and do not marry a feminist. Do not attempt this at home. It's to your detriment to intentionally marry a feminist as a masculine man. None of it is going to turn out right. Once again, guys, like, dislike, subscribe. Whatever you do, share the video. Trigger the algorithm so that this video will keep getting recommended to people similar-minded like yours to come on this channel, feminist or non-feminist, and listen to what we're saying here and what we're doing here, so that people could get educated, get open-minded, get some knowledge, so that the life of people in society could be more coherent, so that we could all work together. Because sometimes some feminists don't even know they're feminists, because some of it was just inculcated in them through their fathers and mothers. So guys, do me a favor, like, dislike, subscribe, share the video, and with that said, I'll see you in my next video. All right, take care, guys.